All right, hello everyone. Welcome along to a very, very exciting tournament final we have got here for you today. This is the Quail-plover Quibble, and it's going to be contested here between Syzygy and Terracotta. So very, very exciting stuff. Two very good Wingspan players we've got here, and two players who have not yet won a tournament. So we're going to get a first-time winner here, which is always fun to see. So we've got a best of three, and that is hopefully going to see some good action. Joining me on the commentary, game number one here, I have got Bout Nemo. How are you doing today, Bout Nemo?
Oh, things are great. I'm doing good. I think this is my first time commentating with you, Flan, so this is going to be fun.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing some good Wingspan in this final. So I think we're ready. I think the players are ready. We've done the flip. And Terracotta is going to go first. So if you could send that invite, please, Terracotta. We'll get straight into this final. Best of luck to both players.
Indeed.
And yeah, as I say, it is a best of three. So we're going to see Terracotta first in this game one. Then the turn order will flip. And then we'll see, depending if we need that game three, who is gonna go first there. But here we go into these first starting hands, and we've got a pretty nice tray. White Wagtail, always fun. Ordering Skull as well, and it looked like some good good brown powers in the starting hand as well, so it could potentially be a nice start for Terracotta here. What would you be looking to keep from this starting hand?
I think there's a lot of great options here. Seeing the Wagtail makes me lean towards the Rosella, because you can sometimes time it to get that nectar on your last turn. If you're going second, give yourself a free nectar. Your opponent doesn't get to keep it, but it is expensive and not necessarily a good first food brown power.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Rosella, I mean, the extra food, the nectar as well. If you are going to go for the Wagtail, it's definitely nice. So I'd be trying to find a way to keep that, because there's not really too much else in terms of like food gaining brown powers. And again, if you're going Wagtail, you do really need that food from somewhere. So I try and find a way to go for it. But yeah, it does look like it maybe. Just all food, which is an interesting start.
Yeah, well, luckily the tray's going to make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, no food and a bonus card.
Yeah.
Or no cards and a bonus card.
Yeah.
Let's go to Syzygy.
You don't often see the no card start, but it could definitely work out here. But pretty interesting starting hand here. Maybe not quite such a good start, but definitely got some good brown powers and a nice bonus card, Mechanical Engineer, you always like to see. So looks like Sea Eagle is that something you'd look to keep? Is there anything else there, or do you just go for that and see what it can get you from the deck?
You know, I don't mind Baird's Sparrow because of the egg, activation, egg acceleration. Vo's Swift, that's also fine to get rid of those cards you draw that you don't need. But ultimately, you're looking for some good card draw. So hopefully something pops up in the tray after Terracotta picks up. I'm assuming the Audun's Goal and the White Wagtail. Yeah,
I think it's got to be those two. I mean, you need the good card draw, and I think maybe part of Terracotta as well is sort of hoping that Goshawk could still be there. I mean, there's a world in which you can play that Ordwin Skull and then draw the Goshawk and get that down easily. Obviously works nicely with the bonus card as well, so that might be something. But yeah, I think we're going to see this tray moving quite a lot in this early game, so I would certainly be okay with doing a bit of digging with the Sea Eagle and seeing where that gets you. But yeah, I think you're right as well. Baird's Sparrow could be interesting, maybe get a few extra eggs, but for now, just go for the digging. That looks like the approach here from Syzygy, so we'll see as we come into this first turn. Indeed,
checks out.
Yeah, I think absolutely no issues there. And Woodstalk coming up, so another potential nice bird for Terracotta to look at. Not really maybe what Syzygy was hoping for, but I think still, I think you got to go with the Sea Eagle. Start drawing.
I think in these types of games where you don't have really good card access, where it's like a Sea Eagle going down, you got to be really efficient with your draws. So seeing a face-up Woodstalk, I think, is going to be really important, and hopefully can continue to be efficient and just draw the really good cards.
I think so. Yeah, I think you definitely, look at the two wetlands that we've got on display here. I mean, Alduin's Goal, you're seeing twice as many cards as your opponent in that case. So, you're really at such an advantage just seeing more cards. You're going to find the good cards quicker. So I think absolutely, if you're Syzygy, you've got to be picking up things like the Woodstock when they're available. So yeah, no real question there. And Sea Eagle, in my experience, feels like a pretty reliable point scorer. Already starting off well there. So definitely a nice nice start for Syzygy. They'll be hoping for some more success there. And yeah, maybe no surprise, Terracotta straight on the Goshawk, and another bonus card bird coming across also. Very, very nice.
Yeah, Goshawk is nice for the bonus card. Say's Phoebe, I mean, honestly, I think it's always nice. The more birds you can get down, the greater its potential. It works already with the white wagtail, so
absolutely.
Good start.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think sometimes in these kind of wagtail games, you can find that sometimes eggs is the struggle where, if you're only laying eggs once a round, you're only getting 2 eggs. Sometimes you can find yourself a little bit short. So Say's Phoebe could work out very nicely. And yeah, I did wonder that Rainbow Lorikeet coming up could be a bit of a saviour here for Syzygy. Very, very nice food gaining brown power. So yeah, no surprise going and grabbing that. But yeah, more good birds. I mean, Yellow Rumped Warbler, very nice for the forest here.
Yeah.
I think, you've got to go and grab that. If you're Terracotta, you're going to be taking food. You've got some extra cards now from this Alduin's Goal to be cycling with. So that could definitely go down. So some nice early draws, definitely giving options, I think, to both players here. I'll be very interested to see how these boards develop, because could be on for a good game. Whoa, okay, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Now it gets even more interesting. Another teal. So yeah, I think you got to take that Yellowhammer all day long here. And that works out pretty well, because the Junko as well, actually, that came up last time, I wasn't really looking at that too closely, but I think now with the Yellowhammer, eating the seeds, that's a great option to get that down, get these birds in the game. And game on here, game on. We got very even starts here, I think, now with the teals on both sides.
Yes, and I'm just wondering what kind of space. Syzygy has already taken 3 turns to draw cards, so that doesn't leave a lot of room to activate that Yellowhammer, get it down, and get another bird. So I'm just wondering what the options are. But I think the Junko's got to go down. You've got a couple cards to ditch.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be too much space to get both birds down, lay eggs, and then get that extra bird down from the Yellowhammer. And I wonder if that's what he's thinking about right now.
Yeah, it is very, very tricky. And I think it can often be the case with these Yellowhammer games where you've got to plan your turns out early. I mean, I think this is where Terracotta's had that advantage. They got the wagtail early, kind of knew that they were going for it. So being able to plan around the turns a little bit better. But yeah, I think definitely trickier with the Yellowhammer coming in for Syzygy kind of mid-round. But I think there is potentially still time. I mean, I think, like you say, Junko, it is really strong. I think potentially that could go in the forest here. Then maybe you have that extra food for something like the Robin. I know it's not a great play, but it is still getting used to the Yellowhammer. It's still another brown power going down. So
yeah,
that's probably where I would lean. But equally, I mean, a couple of Nectar in the feeder, I think you could easily just ditch a card, get those 2 Nectars, and then maybe look at playing the Lorikeet with those, maybe at the end of the round with the Yellowhammer. But plenty of options here, so yeah, no surprise, I don't think, for Syzygy taking a little bit longer on this turn.
And I think they might be going with that Rainbow Lorikeet option, but they're thinking about it. Okay,
it's tricky. I think there's a lot of options, and I think we talk about this all the time, but you want to get your brown powers down as soon as possible, and planning out the order of the turns here is so critical, and making sure that you're using everything that you've got available. So yeah, Syzygy grabbing the Nectar.
The Yellowhammer. Yeah, I don't think that Yellowhammer is going to get activated this time, but I didn't even notice we've got no goal round 2, so there's going to be plenty of time later in this game.
Indeed, lots and lots of time, lots of opportunity to get extra birds. So I think Yellowhammer can, still be pretty good in round 2. I think sometimes it is tricky in that round 1, as we say, picking it up in the middle of the round. It's not always ideal, but
Here's a serious problem, though. There's no nectar for that lorikeet.
Yeah, I think maybe that was part of the plan was to try and use that this round, but like you say, no nectar coming up, and if you've got to spend both your nectar to get it down, suddenly creates a problem.
What if the Yellowhammer went down, he laid eggs, and maybe drew cards, and then just played the Junko with the Yellowhammer?
I think honestly, that might not be a bad idea. I mean, certainly, if you are going with the Junko, those extra cards aren't going to hurt. It's going to be a tucked card for a point, and it's going to be the food as well, which is going to be so important for getting extra birds down with the Yellowhammer. So that could certainly be an option. But yeah, I mean, you've got to play the Yellowhammer and lay eggs, and so you've only got one extra turn. If you are going to use it, what are you going to do with that extra turn? That's kind of always the question. But it looks like going for the lorikeet is going to be I don't know if I'd be it is tough. I don't know if I'd be going for the lorikeet right now. I think it's this feeder is just so tricky, and I mean, this is a situation where I look at my opponent and I know exactly what they're going to do last two turns. They've got the wagtail, need to play it and lay eggs, so that feeder's not moving at all. You've got to spend food, and I think we could very well see a situation where that food gets spent and then no nectar comes up on a reroll, and that would be very, very painful for Syzygy to go through. But yeah, definitely I think a more simple proposition over here for Terracotta. So as I said, being able to plan through this round in terms of using the turns properly, using the turns most effectively, and yeah, Wagtail's gone down no problem. So definitely a nice opening, and yeah, as you said, with the no goal, that's definitely going to make things interesting here, I think, with these teal powers. So we'll see how that's going to affect the game. But yeah, difficult decisions, I think, here for Syzygy.
Yeah, it hasn't been quite as straightforward, but there's still a lot more points on the board so far for Syzygy, especially that white-bellied sea eagle. It's already 10 points. We're in the first round. We got a lot more drawing that we're going to have to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think especially if this Junko does go down, I mean, you want extra cards to be feeding that. I'm going to be interested to see what happens with this Dick Sissel. I mean, I think that's probably one I would look to get rid of sooner rather than later. I don't think really that's going to get too much usage, but we'll see. It looks like we are seeing some cards being drawn. Great Tits come up, which is definitely not a bad option. Probably would have liked to see that go down before the lorikeet, but yeah, you're never really to know. So definitely will be something to let's play in round 2, I think.
Yes, yeah, still lots of good options here, and yeah, was a little surprised by that draw cards action, but I think it's fine. I feel like I would have waited for that tray to get reset if I was Syzygy, but
yeah, I think it's just a case of, with these last couple of turns, obviously you didn't want to take food, use the lorikeet, and it's kind of tricky to do much else. You're gonna play this Junko in the grasslands. Are you gonna commit to that? Are you just gonna lay eggs and throw a card or a food? I mean, those are both kind of not really that appealing options, whereas I think at least drawing cards, I mean, getting lots of nice brown powers coming up, but oh, that's very interesting. I didn't expect that to happen. Skipping the Sea Eagle, tempted by the nectar and the feeder, going first next round perhaps. So very, very interesting stuff. Don't think I've ever seen that happen. But
that's very interesting.
A little bit of mind games, but onto teals, of course, here with the wagtail. So what do you think is going to go down? I mean, got a few good options. Obviously, the goshawk, really nice to get that down for this end of round goal as well. Feels like probably the stronger option, but you've obviously got to tuck a couple of cards. So yeah, it's tricky. I think probably we'll see that Dunnock. Yeah, Dunnock and Starling.
Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense. You're not really strong on food to use a Starling, and your opponent's not really going in the grasslands here. So I think getting rid of those, getting the end of round goal points, definitely makes sense there. So into the second round, and not an especially great tray which I think Syzygy, on the one hand, probably did want to see some good birds, but on the other, I think he'd pretty clearly set himself up to go and take food there. And very, very nice, with plenty of nectar, get the reroll. Well, not quite so nice there, but at least plenty of food.
Still usable.
Yeah, and I think this is where, with Yellowhammer in hand, I think this is where a little bit more planning can happen. You know, you've got time in the rest of this round to really plan out and think, okay, if I'm going to use this Yellowhammer, what sequencing do I need to do? What food do I need to be getting hold of? What bird am I going to look to play? Those are kind of going to be the sorts of questions going through his mind. But yeah, loads and loads of good brown powers. I mean, we've still got this great tip. We've got the Morning Dove, Nightingale, lots and lots of good options. So we'll see if any of those go down.
I think the saving grace for Syzygy, I can't say that, Syzygy, is going to be their food access. I think so. They're definitely out to have a lot more food coming in. And so I think that's going to make all the difference.
Feels like it.
Bring it back, bring it closer.
Yeah. Now, what do you make of that decision? I think that was quite a tricky one on the Ordwin Skull. We had a Trumpeter Swan and a Meadowlark. I mean, Meadowlark, I think, ordinarily is one I really, really like to go with these Wagtail games, getting the extra eggs. But do you think maybe there's a little bit of a defensive mindset there, not wanting to give eggs away, knowing, of course, that your opponent has got Yellowhammer as well?
Yeah, it's always risky to give those eggs away, and I think I understand it, but also I think, I don't know, I'm also a sucker for the bonus cards. I probably would have gone for the Trumpeter Swan as well. I don't love giving eggs away. It just feels so valuable in this kind of game. And the Dick Sissel going down, I don't think I expected that.
Me neither.
Especially having the Morning Dove in hand, so very interesting. I think it's just kind of too expensive for what it is.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I think, you know, if I've got Dick Sissel and Junko both in the hand, I'd probably look at the Junko and get the extra food. But we've got a Raven that's just popped up, so that I think is...
speaking of food access,
I think that's always welcome. But yeah, that's definitely going to go well, I think, here with Wagtail. I see sometimes, you know, people saying Raven and these teal powers don't really synergize because you're sort of trying to do different things. But I think the Nectar's always welcome, and with Rodentologist as well, extra points, definitely nice. Loads of these expensive birds. I mean, like you said, going for something like Trumpeter Swan, always appealing, but Flycatcher as well. We've got the Sace Phoebe. Yeah, plenty of these big point birds, Godwit as well. So I think we'll expect to see that Raven go down and use pretty aggressively here to try and get some extra food.
Yes, and we still need to take a gain food action each round, but in this case, that's just all the better as a Raven, because 2 food per turn is a little bit of a limit. I think it actually works out great, especially with the Scissortailed Flycatcher does mitigate that a little bit, but the Yellow-Rumped Warbler is also going to be effective if you need to draw cards without taking that draw cards action again. This is a pretty good setup, honestly. Yeah,
I think it's nice flexibility. I mean, I'd be perfectly fine taking foods, you know, once or twice around if I need to just to use this Wagtail. But I think, like you say, having the Warbler, I always find with these kind of teal power games, just having that option of being able to get cards or sort of cycle cards outside of the wetlands, just to give yourself another option for getting hold of those cards in the tray is definitely nice. But what do you make of this pink power bronze cuckoo going down? Is that maybe just seeing that Dick Sissel and thinking, I want to try and leech a little bit here? I mean, it's certainly not one I was expecting to go down right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little surprised by it. Luckily, it seems like it was calculated to make sure it was right before eggs needed to go down, because I think that Raven's got to go down next for Terracotta.
Yeah, I think it feels like maybe one of those plays where you sort of see your opponent and you're trying to read their mind and think, okay, they've got no eggs. I know, you know, with this Yellowhammer in hand and only a few turns left in this round, if we're going to see that go down, eggs are going to be laid pretty soon. So that felt a bit opportunistic, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know necessarily how many eggs that's going to hit, but it's certainly nice just to get a few points off your opponent where you can.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering what's the end game for Syzygy here. I see them kind of mousing over their cards. I wasn't seeing too much Yellowhammer being highlighted there, and I think that's got to be critical here. And I'm wondering if we can I think Morning Dove is important enough. So if we did Morning Dove, gain food, lay that Yellowhammer, I think that's enough to get another bird down.
Yeah, I think then the question is, what bird do you play? Because I think there are lots of good options, and this might just be a case of almost being overwhelmed by too many options. I can certainly sympathise with that, but yeah, I think if you're looking for a path to victory in this game, I think it's got to involve the Yellowhammer. I think there's very, very slim chances of being able to compete with a wagtail, unless you're going to fight fire with fire. So I would certainly be hoping to see that go down, but we're getting a nuthatch go down, so whether that's maybe just gonna use the seeds from that to feed a Yellowhammer and maybe play another bird, we'll see. But yeah, I do hope Yellowhammer goes down, because I think if it doesn't, it's going to be a very, very difficult fight back here for Syzygy.
And of course we have the Raven coming down, pretty straightforward, still
Absolutely.
A little bit limited on food. But I think that's going to be fairly temporary.
Yeah, I mean, I think here, you play the Raven, you still got 2 turns left in this round. I think you could pretty easily just lay eggs twice, get a bunch of food, and then, take your pick of these big point birds. I mean, I think is that a brown falcon that's sort of hiding in the middle there for the rodentologist? We might see that go down. It's a bit of an engine bird. If you are going to use this Raven, you do want to build out the grasslands, because as it stands, you lay 2 eggs, but you immediately discard one. So you are sort of struggling and sort of taking points away from yourself. So I think building that out, maybe something like Brown Falcon, and then play the Mockingbird as well, could be a good option. So we'll see. But plenty of those big point birds as well. I'm sure those will go down later on in the game. But not a bad food gain there for Syzygy, getting a bunch of nectar. So loads and loads of options. We'll see which one he picks, because I'm honestly not sure. I think it could be any. He's sort of hovering over plenty of different birds to confuse us and trick us into thinking something. So we might just have to wait and see. Yeah,
and I think there's lots of good point bombs for Terracotta. Not quite as many engine options besides that Brown Falcon and the Mockingbird.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah, I think that still works. I mean, I think normally when you're going wagtail, you kind of look for those bombs anyway. You want the big point birds, you want the bonus cards. So I think that's pretty nice. And Yellowhammer has gone down, so that's good to see. And
I'm gonna guess that Morning Dove is next.
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, it's kind of tricky maybe with depending on what foods come up in the feeder. I mean, I think being able to get the extra nectar was helpful and just gives that flexibility. So yeah, Morning Dove. I mean, if that's just going to save some turns, not laying eggs or not triggering this bronze cuckoo, I think that works out nicely. And I could maybe see something here where Syzygy's going to try and set something up in the forest, use the Morning Dove, maybe use the Great Tit as well, and then play that Collared Dove and potentially be gaining loads of food in this forest, and then dump those at the end of the round for points. So that could potentially work out. But
I think that's honestly decent. Because what's happening now is Terracotta is going to be limited on eggs with that Raven being activated until that habitat's built out. I mean, not super limited, but I think now that the Raven showed up, that Meadowlark would have been fairly decent option.
I think so. I think it would have been nice, but it's a tricky one. I think, like we said at the time, giving away those eggs, if that then means that your opponent isn't going to lay eggs and they're not going to trigger your pink power, that definitely makes things a little bit more difficult. But yeah, Morning Dove goes down, and I think we saw a Mockingbird as well. So it looks like potentially Terracotta here is going to line up the Brown Falcon with that extra food as well. But quite an interesting tray. So going straight for the denial. You see your opponent going Forest Engine, you want to deny the strong birds, but leaving the Dipper here. Do you think that's a risk when you see your opponent's got such weak card access?
Fair. The Dipper is just, I don't like playing it after round 2 because it feels so
late,
low value.
Yeah. I think I sympathize.
Yeah, Syzygy has some decent point bombs to play, and nice.
Very good. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, that's gonna. Yeah,
with rodentologist as well. Now. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's an easy pick.
Very, very nice.
Maybe not. Maybe they're filling the egg. squeeze. I don't know. I thought Great Egret was
you've got to take egret here. When you've got such nice wetland birds, egret into trumpeter swan is like 15, 16 point play later in the game, guaranteed. So yeah, you got to take that. That's definitely a nice find. So some strong birds coming up here, and maybe not leaving quite such good options for syzygy. But I think there's workable options. I think that's all you kind of ask for when you are going, especially Yellowhammer. You just want options to play. So can definitely see something being set up here. But yeah, cards looks to be the problem. So I could maybe see this round being well set up to get some birds down, maybe get that collar dove in the game. But what are you going to do in that last round? We'll have to wait and see, especially with all these extra turns, as we said earlier, with the no goal. You got to think a little bit more carefully about what you are going to be doing with those extra turns. So
yeah, it's not looking as straightforward. I mean, collared dove, that's going to be a huge point bank. The wood stork's great, but the rest of the game's really going to depend on if we can continue to get some really good cards down or in hand for syzygy, I think.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key. And I mean, he is going to be going first in that final round, so that can sometimes play into it, if you get a nice tray coming up there. But equally, if you're sort of banking on that being a good tray and then the birds don't show up, that can be a bit of a blow. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But it certainly feels, from my perspective at least, a lot more straightforward for Terracotta. You got quite an easy plan here. I think I would certainly be looking to get the falcon down in the grasslands, just build that out. Maybe we'll see Scissortail Flycatcher go down as well, just for that big point play. Maybe you save that spot for the Sace Phoebe as well, but certainly, these big point wetland birds, those are going to be key. Get those down, score loads of points. That feels like the way this game is going, and that is a very, very timely egg as well, I think, there for Terracotta. And yeah, we are going to see Falcon go down, so that's potentially going to be worth not just the point from that egg, but potentially an extra point by being able to get this brown falcon down a little bit sooner than expected. So very, very nice timing there.
Yeah, that might have been a good time to try and starve out your opponent, or just wait a little longer. Yeah, but I think so. It wouldn't have been too out of place to gain food first for syzygy.
Yeah, I think it's just a tricky position, because I can kind of see what syzygy was thinking there. With I can lay eggs and then look to get this bowerbird down. I will say I'm a bit surprised we do see the great tit go, but I think maybe he's just thinking I can overwhelm my opponent with food here, where they've got the raven and the mockingbird and the strong forest as well. But yeah, clearly had a bit of a change of heart and going for cards here, having already given out the free eggs.
Ooh, nice.
So yeah, turkey's a nice
rare
find,
miss.
Indeed, a rare miss, and you have revealed a bunch of nectar, which I don't know if I'm Terracotta here and I know I've got to take food, I probably take food now and block all the nectar, take it for yourself. Definitely, I think good to have that flexibility where if you're going to take food at some point in this round, be ready, be opportunistic, and take food when it's of most benefit. And grabbing 3 nectar, very, very nice. So we are going to see Flycatcher go. I think that sort of, to me, signals that we might be seeing Sace Phoebe going down in that final grassland spot. I mean, that is going to be a nice play. A bunch of eggs going to come through. Definitely nice. So yeah, I'd almost not be too bothered what's going to come up on these Warbler Tucks, because such nice birds in hand. Got lots of good options for.
I kind of also wonder if there's an argument for that house sparrow to go down. The raven and the mockingbird. That's a lot of points, but also lots of birds you got to get down. You don't really necessarily want to do engine pieces when you've got a teal power like the wagtail. But I can see an argument for it.
It's a good point. I think there is a world in which it could go down. I just think at the moment, you look at all these birds in hand. I'd be looking at doing egret, godwit, swan. I mean, these are expensive birds that need a lot of food. So, you want to be using your raven, grab a bunch of nectar, try and win the nectar races. I mean, it's pretty close in the grasslands and the wetlands at least. So being able to compete there and get the extra points is definitely nice. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, there's always a chance you kind of wait a little bit to fill up that last grassland spot, but I think in these Oceania games, I'm a fan of getting that 5th bird down as quick as you can, get those extra eggs through.
Oh,
so yeah, not what you expect on the Falcon. Yeah, I think I have very, very bad experience with this bird, so I won't say anything. But
I feel like it's reliable. It's just, it always sucks. You're like, oh, omnivore, that's great. And then with the brown falcon, you just think, oh man. And then I had the same food cost both times, a seed and an omnivore. So
yeah, not ideal, not really. Yeah, not what you want to see. So you kind of hope for some points coming through there for that falcon. So a bit annoying, but definitely, I mean, still a strong grasslands with the raven getting all this extra nectar. I think for sure we are going to see some birds go down in this wetlands, and there might be a little bit of mind games to play because this kind of end of round goal, cards in hand, always a little bit tricky, especially if you're going first versus second in the round, sort of trying to wait and see what your opponent's going to do. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Terracotta draw cards again this round, just to really cement it, and with the Ordwin's Gull as well, getting the extra card and the tuck could be nice. But you know, you don't really want to do that if you can avoid it, and you know, if you can spend that extra turn playing another bird rather than just drawing cards, that's kind of ideal. So
yeah, I think I'd feel fairly comfortable as Terracotta here with cards in hand, but you never know. I can never figure out who plays first on the end of round. Like, it feels like it's not consistent, but
yeah, I think it obviously, you know, it's something to bear in mind. It's something to try and make sure that you're paying attention to as the round plays out, for sure. But yeah, I think they might be okay. I mean, I think as well it's a case where if I'm Terracotta, I'm looking at Syzygy and thinking, you know, is there any chance my opponent draws cards again here? Probably not. I think there's enough to be getting on with, taking food, playing birds, scoring points. So yeah, if I'm Syzygy, I'd probably take the L here, but be ready to react in a situation where, oh, got some spreadsheets coming up, very nice. Be ready to react in a position where, you know, maybe drawing cards on that last turn could win the end of round goal. So we're seeing a bonus play, not the best coming up there for a Data Analyst. Little bit of a tricky one to work with. So,
and what I'm noticing, Terracotta has no good forest options in hand. Not only for this end of round. Oh, never mind. There
you go. Is that? Yep, and that's small enough, so that works out.
Yes, I was going to say before that, didn't have anything to use nectars up in that forest to compete on nectar.
Well, ask and you shall receive. So Goldfinch coming
exactly.
up, and another pink power. So that means when Syzygy goes and lays eggs, that's going to be 2 points going over to Terracotta. So that is going to be a real nail in the coffin there. I feel like it's looking pretty good here for Terracotta. Lots of good options, lots of good birds that we are going to see go down in this game. But Syzygy's got some decent ones as well. And I think, yeah, if we can see this collar dove coming out, and then, you know, we've got the turkey. To be honest, I think even just the cards in hand that he's got now, I think are all pretty good. You know, you want to take the bonus gamble with the stork. The yellow power, the cormorant works pretty well with these platform nests that we're already seeing on the board, and the few in hand as well. So
yes, decent
options to work with, which again is kind of all you ask for. So I think there is a decent amount that Syzygy can be getting on with these final few turns, but it's just about planning. It's just about thinking, working out what's the right order to be doing everything in. I think that's where, you know, he's just taking a little bit of a moment here to sort of work out what that optimal route is. And it looks like we're getting a turkey go down, potentially just to be getting some extra food. Yeah, it's a force. I think, I don't know. I think I can sort of understand it. Maybe just hoping to get the re-roll, see some extra food. I don't know. I'd maybe hold off one turn and just see if I could be spending some more nectar up there. But maybe it's just a case of dumping a bunch of food that you kind of don't really want. But then again, with this collar dove, you know, that's points with each of those.
I just see food twice and play that collar dove. I think
it's looking likely. Yeah, I think that's that's certainly an option. And then, you see what that final tray is. Like I said earlier, you take that gamble drawing cards now, or do you wait? I think you probably wait. And then if it's good stuff, you can sort of upgrade what's in your hand. If it's not, you've got this Dixisal as well. So might just let Syzygy know after game 1 to not open their beautiful, masterful spreadsheets. I'm always a fan of a good spreadsheet, but maybe if I'm playing a tournament final, I'd keep my mind focused on that rather than worry too much about that. But a couple of turns here left for Terracotta. So do you think it's going to be a case of getting this Goldfinch down? Do you think maybe you want to prioritize that final grass and birds or something else?
I think it's worth getting a Grasslands bird down so that you don't have to worry about, like, you can just get the straight 4 eggs. You don't have to worry about discarding food or cards. Which one, between the House Sparrow and the Say's Phoebe, I don't really know. There's high potential for lots of extra food between having to take the gain food action and then the Mockingbird Raven. Mm-hmm. But I do think, well, there we go. I was just going to say, maybe they're thinking about putting the House Sparrow down before gaining eggs, but I guess not.
Yeah,
they've got plenty of food.
I think so, and I think, I don't know, I'd be tempted to just try and get that. Oh, another miss. It's not going well. Oh my
gosh, same food.
Same problem.
It was the seed and
See, this is just cursed.
Now they're thinking about what's he going to do.
It's clearly thinking, what other seed wild? Oh no, there we go. Is that one just about just draw every seed and wild Phoenix bird in the game? But yeah, I was going to say, it looks like I think this Goldfinch is potentially going to be the play. I'd certainly be tempted to go and do that. I mean, you see your opponent with that Grasslands, just try and block that. Obviously, it helps with the bonus card that's been picked up. Helps spend some nectar up in that forest, which you're probably going to lose that, but you do want to spend at least once a year qualifying and getting some points. But now, yeah, we'll see.
What's Terracotta going to do here with the last turn? Because they only have food for one bird. I feel like they should have doubled the Raven.
Potentially. I mean, maybe actually what maybe what he's thinking is to just take more food off that Raven and then go for a double play. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was a case of being ready to draw cards if needed, but yeah, it certainly seems like maybe he's just trying to sort of pad out this nectar with spending loads of it to get the extra eggs, which I'm sort of okay with, but at the same time, you've got so many birds in your hand to play that are really, really expensive, and I'd rather be keeping that food to spend on those big point birds. So it's interesting.
I mean, I don't know if this is a good rule of thumb anymore, but one food is kind of going to be equal. There you go. There's the bugs. One food's equal to like maybe 3 points versus the Brown Falcon giving you just one. I mean, there's a lot of birds. There's yeah, very interesting. And then of course you can't grab 2.
Yeah, I think that's the frustration there is kind of it did happen at the end of round 2 as well, I think, where he had to take that extra turn laying eggs and grabbing some non-nectar, and it's sometimes those little things where you're sort of missing out on just 1 or 2 nectar. It doesn't feel like a big difference, but that can swing a nectar habitat and cost you 6 points at the end of the game. So we'll see if that's going to sort of come back and bite him later, but should be all right playing loads of these wetland birds later. And there you go, Behaviorist coming up. Very nice.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I thought they picked the other one. Okay.
Works pretty nicely here. I think the plan already to go with the teal. Not seeing the teal go down this round is maybe interesting. I mean, are we still going to see it come out? I don't know. Not really got the food to maximize off it, so maybe just trying to get the wetlands built out just for that extra card in the final round. But yeah, we'll see.
I think the reason it should have the dove should have gone down is because so interesting. Because if you don't get a good bird, the dove is your backup of just taking like 1 or 2, maybe 2 extra gain food actions and just get 5, 6 points, 7 points from it actually with the nuthatch and the dove. Very interesting.
Definitely not what I was expecting.
This is why.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's why you don't play the turkey, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you have to. You have to block Kakapo here,
Oh
but
gosh.
um,
But
yeah, it's tricky. I think maybe I'm just trying to look on Mechanical Engineer. I think maybe Syzygy still needs a cavity nest, and so maybe the gamble here was hoping I find that extra cavity nest, because that's, it's worth an extra 5 points here, but it's not come up.
Yeah, that might have to skip the Kakapo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very.
Oh, I mean,
I
don't know. I think you've got to take it. You can't be leaving that. You can't be leaving that for your opponent, especially with Wagtail filling the board almost. But yeah, that's a difficult one, and yeah, as the chat's pointing out, no eggs, so not even able to spend an egg to see an extra card. So that is always a bit of a disappointment. You kind of always, I think, want to be trying to do that, especially where you can just turn those extra cards back into eggs in the grassland. So yeah,
and another
more forest birds that you can't play because again, turkey kind of blocking. So not a great draw. I think you got to block this. I think you got to block this Kakapo here. I'll be very, very surprised if that doesn't get taken.
Yeah, I think maybe the thought process is you got to play offensively. Like, you just got to try and overpower. But still, I don't know. I think it's a
tough one to leave, because if I'm Terracotta in that situation, I'm going and grabbing that pretty instantly. And I mean, obviously,
easy grab.
Yeah, obviously, Syzygy doesn't know this, but the flightless Wingspan is going to help on Forest Data Analyst as well, and get some extra points there. So
yeah, kind of a painful card to see left in the tray with the Forest Data Analyst, which suddenly turns into a 5-point bonus card, which is excellent.
It is suddenly not looking too bad. Suddenly, basically doing almost as well as this Rodentologist at the moment, but. We come to this point of the game where we got to try and work out who's going to win. So I'm going to put up a poll in the chat, but I'm going to throw this question to you as well, Boat Nemo. Who do you think is going to win this game one?
I think Terracotta's got game one, but I think it's going to be closer than what it might appear because of all these really big point birds. I mean, it's not an overwhelming amount, but there's a lot of points. There's the yellow hammer, or there's the cormorant that's going to put down 4 or 5 eggs. This pipit's going to be a good 7-ish point play, maybe. So I think it's going to be close, but I think Terracotta's got it.
Yeah, I think it. Terracotta's looking in a strong position, and both players are going to have some nice plays. I think, like you say, we are going to see a lot of eggs coming through off the cormorant. That dove is going to be a big play with. Behaviorist as well, but yeah, we look at Terracotta, we know such big plays. This Kakapo, a little bit of a gamble there, but I talked about it earlier, that Egret into Swan is just going to be absolutely huge. We've got this Phoebe as well, plenty of free worms are coming through from this Bowerbird, which I think is actually super helpful if you're Terracotta, because yeah, just every little helps with those few extra worms to get those birds down. So not the great draws that you were looking for on that last turn, but I think not a problem. Plenty of options already available in hand, and yeah, potentially just be laying eggs here, grab more nectar, see if you can maybe flip the wetlands. I don't think that'll be a problem here with all these lovely birds to play.
Yeah, there's a potential to play five birds here with the double play. We have Kakapo, we have Phoebe, we have Swan, we have let's see, Great Egret, and then maybe the Petrel. I don't know if that's worth it, but with the extra turn and all of the food access, you could put a lot of birds down here.
Yeah, I'd certainly be expecting, I'd say, the wetland double play, and then play another bird, and then obviously you've got the wagtail. So I think we'll see that wetland double play. I think Phoebe's got to go down, and I think the Kakapo as well. So that leaves, I guess, 2 turns for egg laying. I think that should be fine in terms of getting the food needed there. I mean, if push comes to shove and you need to copy that Raven, do it. This Brown Falcon's clearly not got the memo in terms of trying to score points this game, but
yeah,
we'll see. It's going to get a couple more chances here, but yeah, I think
it's going to get doubled again. if I'm being honest, I don't think it should, but I think it's gonna.
I think so, but there we go. It does at least hit there.
First one.
Oh,
all right, called
hey,
it.
There we go. Working nicely.
All right. Yeah, those Falconer friends came to play. Although those are the cards you might want to draw.
Yeah, that's true actually with the with the rodentologist.
Of course, they both only lived in the forest, or the kite didn't. But there's not a lot of options left. There's only one spot left in each of these habitats.
Yeah, I think it's not a huge deal. You know, if I'm terracotta, you see something good to come up, like maybe that king rail might be tempting, but you've got some great stuff in hand to work with. So
this is interesting. Last turn, Syzygy skipped the rainbow lorikeet and then gained food again. I thought maybe they would just try to push down a bunch of birds, but now they're gaining food again.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think sometimes with the lorikeet, you know, this was pointed out in chat earlier, where if you've got to discard the nectar and then there's no nectar in the feeder to, you know, replace it with, you're sort of putting yourself at a disadvantage. And I think where Syzygy is probably looking at this forest nectar and thinking, I've got that one already. Every nectar I keep here, if I can throw that into this collared dove and potentially flip that grasslands nectar, that is going to be worth more points. So that might be the thinking here, but yeah, I don't know. I think the first time skipping it, I think that just sort of blocked maybe a potential easier re-roll the second time round. So I don't know how much difference it made, but that, if I had to try and guess, is probably what the plan is.
That does make sense.
Yeah, and I mean, certainly lots of food here. I think it's well set up here. Pretty easy last couple of turns, I think. You know, you're going to play collared dove, you lay eggs, you're going to ditch these extra cards you've got. Use the Dixisl, of course, as well. So decent turn.
Yeah.
And then, kind of as you said earlier, with that Pipit as well. Not a terrible play. Going to try and push on this end of round goal, but I'd be pretty sure terracotta we are going to see. I would hope at least the grass and bird going down.
I think that chat might go down instead, because a cup nest is needed for a mechanical
That's true.
engineer.
Yellow-breasted chat. Yeah, I got my nests wrong earlier. It is indeed a cup nest. So is that more points? I guess so, because it's 5. Yeah, it's 5 and 5. So yeah, chat is potentially.
I just can't believe this fifth column isn't filled out yet for terracottas.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised as well. I would have thought, you know, with this end of round goal and with the Says Phoebe, which is definitely a good play. I think if you're going to be laying eggs, you want to get that done. I mean, I think with the extra cards, and you can throw this for the extra egg anyway, it's kind of it's a bit of a moot point. You don't need those cards for anything else. But maybe it's just a case of kind of keeping your cards close to your chest in a metaphorical but also a literal sense. And just sort of not giving too much away to your opponent, which I'm sort of okay with in that sense. But we're seeing Kakapo go down, and yeah, I think it looks like, I guess it's going to be worms and nectar on the Phoebe, and then more nectar in the wetlands. So might be a little bit of nectar management here if you're terracotta, just to make sure that you hold on for dear life in that grasslands where possible. But I think it's going to be tough here, because with this collared dove and this extra nectar that Syzygy's got hold of, it's looking pretty strong there for the grasslands nectar.
Did you know that Syzygy is? I think you're from England, so I think that makes Syzygy a countryman for you.
I believe so.
Yeah, he said he lives in Scotland, but he's English.
Very nice.
So that's
a fellow spreadsheet enjoyer as well. So
yes,
absolute respect, and a fellow teal power enjoyer as well. Clearly, so
I can join in on some of those. I love me a spreadsheet. I love me a good teal power. But I have no English in me for at least several generations, for a long, long time.
Well, I'd hope that everyone in chat, we're all Teal Power fans here, and we certainly had a good showing, I think, from both players here, both using the Yellowhammer, using the Wagtail very, very nicely here. And yeah, we're going to see big plays incoming here. So Egret into Swan. Tasty. Yes. Love to see it. Nearly filling the board. Nearly filling them. Not quite.
Very close. I think they could have.
I think there was potential. You know, as you said earlier, maybe if you choose to copy the Raven sometimes, and you've got the extra food, and you know, play an extra bird. But I think it was well managed for the most part. Get the big point birds down. Focus on the priorities. Hit the bonus cards, and done well. I mean, 8 and 5, very good. And kind of similar over here with this yellow-breasted chat going down. Not a bird you see played on the final turn very, very often, but it's going to work for this mechanical engineer. And Yeah, 6 on Behaviorist as well is pretty good. So, yeah,
Surprising
decent
result
final
on the
rounds.
Nectar. Yeah.
Well, I think so. This has just flipped, and this is maybe caught Terracotta napping just a little bit, because I think this Grasslands, I think it was there for the taking. So maybe just didn't think about the dove, maybe just forgot about it, but it has come through here. It has flipped that Nectar.
So
that's some points. That's some points on the board.
So we're talking about teal powers. Terracottas from Latvia, which is Eastern Europe. And when I did my research, the willy wagtail is one of his favorite birds that he sees all the time in his country.
Well, there we go.
Very appropriate that it shows up and might enable him to win here in this game.
Very appropriate. And I think there was a pretty good bonus card draw as well on the Kakapo. It looked like loads and loads of good options. But scoring some points. And yeah, we're already into the scores here on Syzygy's side. So we'll follow along there. Pretty tight here. Both players scoring well through the birds and the bonuses. Terracotta slightly ahead. Obviously, Cash Food and Tux is potentially where Syzygy's going to bring it back. Maybe no. Terracotta looking strong there. Going to hold on with the Nectar as well for a big score. 128 for Terracotta up against 111 for Syzygy.
Excellent game.
Absolutely. Both players scoring well. Both players in the triple digits, which I think you always want to see, and good showcase with the teal powers, with the yellow powers coming through at the end. But it is Terracotta who takes game 1 of this best of 3 final. But because it's best of 3, it's not over yet. We're going to have at least one more game. If Syzygy can win that, we're going to take it to a decider. Or if Terracotta can claim the victory, it's going to be his championship to take home. So there we go. Very enjoyable game 1. I enjoyed watching that one a lot.
Oh yeah, certainly great play by both players. Obviously, the card access early is such a determining factor, but also going first and picking up that Audun's goal. And
absolutely.
I mean, it's almost as like, is this a 50-50 game just because of who goes first? It's hard. It's hard, but both players played very well with what they had.
I think so, and it was a super interesting start. Obviously, Terracotta going with the 5 food, leaving all the cards from their hand, but 5 food start turns into 128 points, so definitely nice.
Exceptional play, honestly.
Definitely.
Even with all the help with the card, with the teals, it was really excellent play.
They're
actually ranked number 3 on the leaderboard, so very appropriate
there we
turnout
go.
as well.
As I said, we've got some strong players here on display in this final. So we'll check in with the players and see if we are ready to go in to game number 2. But we also...
This is where I sign off.
Yeah, we're also...
I'm going to be switching out commentating.
Yeah, well, it's been good to commentate with you. Thank you very much for sharing the hot seat with me about Nemo. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure playing.
Yeah, good. And we're going to swap over
the rest of this and take care.
Thank you very much. And yeah, we're going to swap over entirely to a new team. We've got Alex and Mother Love who are going to join us as we're already into this game with the starting hands. I will pass over the baton and enjoy the game.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you, Plan and Nima, and hello, Mother Love.
Hello.
How are you feeling this exciting final?
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty good game. Both having teal pubs, so it's always I feel like teal pubs with no goal end of round as well. You get so much more flexibility in the later rounds to do the actions you want. So it was cool to see.
Yes, for sure.
So immediately we see a woodpecker in the tray.
Yeah, so that could be a little switch from game 1, right? So like seeing the good birds in the tray for another player, for Syzygy in that case, would be really nice. However, there is no extra bird with cavity nest in the starting hand.
It's a bit of a tough one because it feels like you have to deny it or just take it yourself, but if you take the woodpecker and your opponent probably seeing it in the tray keeps a cavity nest, I'm not sure you actually got an advantage.
Yeah, so I think there is some tempo advantage to having 2 eggs. Yeah, but it's hard. I mean, I don't think the plan is to pick up both woodpecker and locktail teeth, though.
I mean, yeah, it would be weird. I don't think it works that well. They do have good card with the yellow throat, so probably just try and play Woodpecker really quickly before your opponent has a cavity nest down, so you get one egg, and then dig.
Yeah, but again, we're also looking at another starting hand, and there are some cavity nests, so potential play around the Woodpecker on the board. So Swift, I don't think Flycatcher is necessarily the plan here.
Green Heron, one of those birds that has really improved in Oceania.
Oh yeah, I think like I tend to agree. However, I still think that it's somewhat weak compared to like, for example, Yellow Throat.
I mean, birds that give you more cards are better. The thing is, Green Heron it's not really net resources. You're just trading. Also, there was a potential combo with the Jumping Bird and the Green Heron to get nectar, but it seemed a bit niche as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like you can also somewhat use Heron to collect more nectar in the wetlands scoring. So like I believe you trade nectar for something, and then
trade nectar for. I thought that was a bug. Trading nectar for nectar.
Yeah. So I think it's how it works right now in the game. If they fix it, that's fine. Yeah. But I think you have to be aware of that at least. I don't think it's necessarily a thing that you can point out as a bug, right? Because like you kind of give food, right? And like it is always the terms of like how do you manage like the terminology here? So like if you give food, does it count as being spent in the habitat basically? So.
I mean, it's easier to figure out when you're playing the actual board game because you kind of just move your foot token and you never take a new one. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah. Right.
I was gonna say Sandpiper as well. It feels like with the white-throated Swift, Sandpiper could have been a little better.
But actually, the deeper pickup was really nice.
Yeah, for
Terracotta,
sure.
Because of Woodpecker, basically, yeah. And now it seems that Terracotta's gonna have really decent wetlands early in the game, compared to game 1 as well. Yeah.
Is Hummingbird gonna see play? So if you play Hummingbird, you're gonna make your opponent activate the forest less or fewer times. So they're gonna get fewer eggs. You're gonna get fewer eggs as well. Do you think that's something worth looking into?
I think that could be a potential for thinking about it. However, right now, actually interesting. I would maybe say that maybe delay the Woodpecker as much as possible. Being Syzygy right now is a must because White-throated Swift is already on the board. So and you don't know which cards you're gonna play.
Yeah. There's literally there's no use doing it now when you don't have another card.
Yeah, and I believe the situation was it was 2 food in the supply for Syzygy. So if the trade doesn't like suit the player, you can just reroll it because you have already the bird in the wetlands and use the extra food. But Syzygy decided to go for other.
That feels like a pretty significant loss in momentum in a way, because now Terracotta can play the deepest straight away. And obviously outpace you digging. I mean, not really outpace, but they do have 2 birds now.
Yeah. I think it's like kind of similar right now. I don't think they gonna go out of their way to throw out eggs to draw extra cards. However, I think with White-throated Swift is net similar, right? So you can look at more, and then if you don't like the cards, you can just discard them.
Yeah. Birds that give you the ability to dig more, like an excuse to dig more, is super valuable in Oceania, or in general, to be honest. But yeah, the tempo is on Terracotta's side here.
I just wonder if they missed the Swift with the cavity nests. Maybe that was the reason of going for food, yeah. But now, I think that's a good reroll, so we can look at Cold Teeth in the forest potential.
Yeah, Cote Woodpecker would make sense.
Yeah, and second bird, I think most likely from the deck, because
Ooh.
nice.
Oh, we're about to see either an outstanding performance or nothing at all, because that's usually how it goes with the penguin.
Yeah, I also think that's a potential of an Air Sando performance going here. So I don't think there are any birds needed in the grasslands right now.
Penguin Mockingbird.
Oh yeah. But I think right now, like, Mockingbird's gonna be denied.
Yeah.
Because at this level in the tournaments, if you are in the finals, I think it's more often than not you encounter the situation where Mockingbird is brought your opponent so much value if you kind of decided to sleep on it. So yeah, and it was denied, and an insane draw from the deck, right? So Panellis.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, another bird that gives them the opportunity to dig more.
Yeah, not for now because no extra eggs for now at the board, but yeah, obviously, I think that will be a plan for them.
And Mockingbird could be decent with the Swift since you can put the egg anywhere. We'll have to see. I think Terracotta is still trying to figure out the food generation here.
Yeah, so if you don't have any birds in the forest, but you have an abundance of cards, you kinda have 2 food per forest activation lane. But you can also kinda switch the plan and maybe still go for that Ruby Throated. However, I'm not sure if it's gonna land in forest to make single forest activation better.
Going back on what I was saying earlier, I feel like this is building a strong forest. Mm-hmm. So to me, I would be more likely to play the Hummingbird just because it sort of, in a way, keeps them away from the forest a little bit.
Yeah. And actually, Syzygy went for a different cavity bird, which again kind of helps with the food generation and more points. Great Crested.
I would have gone for Colted either way. Like, I get that 5 points, especially in Oceania when I have good food draw. I like if you play birds that are consistently like 4, 5, 6 points as opposed to 1 or 2 points. It really adds up at the end on your board, even if you don't have like birds worth 9 points or anything. You get like 60 bird points, something like that. But in that case, this early in the game, I feel like Cote, just to be safe, you're guaranteed to get a food. I don't like Flycatcher too much.
I think that's fair, but I also think that maybe like Cold Teeth is guaranteed food, right? And Grub in the tray is like 96% guaranteed, which could be a point of consideration. However, Cold Teeth generates food which can be converted to points in the end game, but it's less applicable, I would say, compared to Grubs versus Wits. But it's only like slightly less, and it's really arbitrary. I would say, like, it's.
I mean, to be fair, they're probably gonna play both.
Yeah.
If they do invest in the forest.
Yeah, that's also the plan. Or maybe not.
We say goodbye to Cote.
Was it for? Wait, the fish was in the feeder still. I thought that maybe the decision was to maybe play the penguin as early as possible and then iterate between habitats and generate more value, potential value from penguin caches. But they actually he actually hasn't took the fish, and I wonder why. So now we have to overpay if we want to play the penguin.
I probably wouldn't play Bonelli here, to be honest. I feel like
Early?
Yeah, well, yeah, I wouldn't want to throw away the Black Swan this early.
Oh yeah.
And I don't really think you gain much from playing it this early. So I don't know. It's like Flan always say, you only play birds when you need to. I would still be digging here, to be honest. But I think maybe they want to take food to play the hummingbird. But I don't know. I'd keep it in the back pocket.
Yeah, sure. And I wondered like why would you go for Bonelli here? Maybe for the end of round, but then end of round was eggs and which is like interesting. So now,
I mean, especially having to throw away Black Swan feels a bit bad, because you already have Penguin Falcon, Bonelli Black Swan. That's Black Swan is already a 9-point bird with all of that, and it's not that hard to play with Omnivore and stuff.
Yeah, I recently saw a thread when you praised Black Swan, so tell us a little bit more about it. Why do you value it that much?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, well, with big birds being easier to play, I've had quite a few games where I got 6-7 eggs from Black Swan. On the end game. It's just, I mean, by itself it's 7 points because you get an egg on itself, and it just works up really quickly. Hey, it was already like it's 1-1, and with just the birds in hand, it would have been 9 points already.
Yeah, I believe the very first game of Oceania I played with you, I actually used Black Swan, so that's why I also remember that. And, seeing the bird for the first time and saying like, okay, that bird is good. Like, because,
yeah, for sure.
I agree with you. It's actually really good, and it works for Omnivore. And most of the big birds that you play are really big points, but it's like extra 1 point if you play the Black Swan. So it's really nice. Yeah, but let's see. Actually, I think a decent draw for Syzygy, right? So like Great Roadrunner in the end game is just plain points, and some extra good draws. I would say, ooh, this one.
Those are some good draws. Both of them are really good, to be fair. Because looking at Terracotta's board, I would guess that they're gonna try and gain the majority of their points through the grassland. So, keep the cuckoo. No. So I would have kept the cuckoo and yeah, bushed it, prime air sand material.
And so, do you think like wetlands boosted for boosted penguin combo, or forest boosted for triple X from the forest activation?
I'm not sure. I have to assume the woodpecker. I don't think you go forest boosted. I have to assume they kept woodpecker because of the bonus card, but I can't really think of another reason why you'd keep woodpecker.
Yeah.
No, I would want to dig here. Wetland boosted and dig.
So you said like the red-headed woodpecker compared to the cuckoo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree. I think like maybe I would consider cuckoo a little bit more. Like red-headed is one of the birds where it's like when it goes on the board, you think like your opponent is struggling if it's like on your opponent board. So most likely.
Yeah, the wetland mockingbird is a little bit funny. It does look a little bit like banking on drawing like a mute swan or something. Which would be good, to be fair, but
yeah, but right now, so how many cards are we looking at? So 8 per turn. That's really nice. I
No,
don't-
so they can do Green Heron twice.
I mean, fair, but I don't think we ever repeat the Heron. I mean, maybe for the nectar cost in the end, if it works as I described earlier, but I don't think that's worth it. Hornlark, yes, you always take Hornlark.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Because
Must
it-
take.
Must take, especially right now, right? Because your opponent doesn't have any cards in the grassland. So if you play it early and with that card draw, I think there is a potential for OP Hornlark Web.
Yeah, for sure. I might be looking into a forest hummingbird at this point, to be honest.
Yes, for the reasons we described earlier. Also, I think it's still worth playing.
Hummingbird crow in the grassland could be decent as well. Hummingbird crow, peregrine falcon. You already have the swift.
Yeah, so it's hard to skip the partridge, I think, if you want to focus on grasslands.
Yeah.
Because if you play it as a second bird, but so the problem playing the partridge as a second bird is that there is no food for now for it to be played. I think right now the incentive to go forest hummingbird is also
Yeah, you have to go forest hummingbird here.
yeah. And even though we only have one egg to play the hummingbirds, I don't think that would be an issue because the pileated woodpecker is on other opponent's board. So we kind of hope, but it's most likely to. What? What's going on?
Sets of eggs, I guess.
So we focus in end of rounds. Okay.
I mean, sets of eggs and the bonus card.
Sure. That's
Yeah. I don't know. It's a 4.3 cost bird. So even if you get like 3 points from the end of round, it's pretty mid.
Yeah. So I actually kind of stunned by this play in a not in a really good way. I wonder why is it better now, since you have pushed it, right? So
Yeah. No, I don't know. It feels terrible to me as well because you can only honestly play bush tape, but you can only tie the end of round. And like I was saying, even if you factor in the end of round points into the actual woodpecker, it's still like a 7-point bird for free full, and it doesn't really do anything tempo wise. And you could accomplish the same with bush tape. So both keeping woodpecker and playing woodpecker are plays I can't agree with.
yeah.
Especially because it's never gonna get activated.
I mean, I think right now it has to be activated for the second end of round. Oh no, we have penguin.
We have
Never mind.
penguin, we have bush tail as well.
Yeah. Never mind. Okay, we just gonna have to see what's coming next for.
Is the
Suzuki.
Léopied Cormoran good here? 1, 2, 3. 4 maybe with the Roadrunner could be decent.
Are you counting for
The
third
Cormorant. How many platform
Cormorant.
nests?
Yeah. Okay.
Leo Penguin, Bush Tape, Cormoran itself. Ooh, Common Swift, really good. Wait, what happened to the Common Swift?
It was like it's a penguin activation. So
Sorry, I got excited.
yeah, imagine drawing 5 cards from a single brown activation and being like, okay, yeah. Because I mean, even Great Crisis Creep doesn't do that, right? So like you draw one by one and maximum of 4.
No, but I did have recently an Air Sander with a Kelp Girl,
Kelp.
which is unlimited. You can draw as many cards as you want.
Sure. But you still do them one by one, I believe, right?
Sorry?
You still draw one by one. from the
I'm not sure. I think. Oh, I'd have to check. I thought you discard all of the food, kind of like you do with the key.
That it doesn't allow you to draw from the tray, only from the deck.
No, the kelp girl you can draw from the tray. I'll have to check.
Yeah.
I kind of like Terracola's board here. I don't like the Mockingbird that much. Doesn't really seem to do that much. But the grassland is shaping up pretty well with the partridge, with the falcon.
Yes, that's true. So I think like again like partridge is really powerful when you want to focus on grassland, and it's gonna like bring so many extra eggs for terracotta. So
Okay, so for kelp girl you discard all the food and then you draw all of the cards,
yeah,
which feels like chaos. If you discard like 10 food and you just get 10 cards in one go, it feels absurd. Like you should be allowed to do that.
yeah. But on the other hand, you discard 10 food, then you draw one card, then you think, then you draw another, then you think, right? So it's a potential for like, especially in festive type of games, right? So like you draw one card and say like, okay, this card is good. We're gonna give it to you. Oh no, this card is even better. Discard everything that is
filthy grassland once it gets going. Honestly, the grassland could be really good, but I feel like they have to get it down immediately. And I would probably, if you have partridge, I would ignore trying to get other brown powers. Just partridge, falcon, and then just fill up the west with stuff you don't care about. And try and get as many grassland activations as you can. Probably aim for a 6-point ecologist. Nah, the horned lark.
No. What's also the bird? Is it Janko in the? No, Oceania. I believe it's bush lark, right? And you attack the horned lark or bush lark.
A bush lark is like Tekla's lark, but slightly worse, right?
Yeah. How do you attack the horned lark? Oh, I mean that has to be a misplay, right? Oh no, it's not a bush lark, but it's like the other, like the yellow power.
Australian pipit.
Yeah,
Australian pipit is good. I like Australian pipit.
Yeah. So then, we can kind of argue that Australian pipit is
better.
Well, I would say it's comparable because it's kind of guarantees like a lot of tax, right? So yeah. I mean
they're gonna. I don't see them finishing the game without filling up the grassland, so it's gonna be an 8-point bird for 2 food. What is it, like 3 X spaces? It's pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
It does look the correct way as well.
Yes, sure.
Oh wait, we did see a forest bush tit.
Yes.
Man, this is a little bit chaotic on on this side of the board.
I mean, yeah. So the thing that still like kind of shocks me is that red-headed was played with the bush-tit as an option. So I don't understand that, but we will see what was the plan.
I don't understand. They keep throwing away the birds that I like. I don't know. You see a grassland shaping up. I feel like the what was it? The magpie would have been maybe worth keeping, you know.
So it's like 1 turn left in round 2. So if you play it right away, then it's 3 activations, which can be fine. However, right, we haven't seen that the partridge. No. We saw the partridge was drawn, right? Because we only miss that if there is like an immediate draw from the tray reset from the deeper because of how the game works, right? So, but I still think that's Suzuki has an information about partridge.
Phoebe would read the end of round word. No, Phoebe would tie the end of round. So I don't know. I feel like I would play partridge here. You still get second for the end of round.
Yeah, so you still manage to get some points for that.
But at least you have partridge down.
Yeah, and partridge value I think is more than the singular Phoebe activation. So how many? It's like plus 3x, and I believe you activate Partridge once, you already has.
Well, yeah, you play Phoebe, you tie the end of round, you get 3 points, but you kind of miss out on a Partridge activation.
value.
You know, no, actually, you can just play Partridge afterwards, but you don't have a bird in the forest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still prefer playing Partridge here. Because I know they're not gonna do another forest bird for the rest of the game. They're gonna try, it's just not gonna happen.
I think I agree with you on that. I don't see why you would kind of give up on playing Partridge and giving up on end of round points difference instead of building your engine faster and then gaining more value from the engine. Unless the Partridge is not in the plan.
It has to be, right?
Who knows?
Partridge can still be played, yeah. I mean, Partridge is still good if you get 2 points from it, even if you don't get 3. You can still go Partridge, Falcon, Australian Pipit, and you have a really good grassland. Try and get a forest bird, aim for 6-point ecologist. I feel like that has to be the aim of the game here. And
Yeah.
If they can do all of that, they probably win. Oh, wait. Forest Wave.
Forest Raven, maybe. Yes.
How come they're not taking the Leo Pierre Comor? I don't get it, because it's one of the only point bombs that showed up. It's in Tway and they're just not taking it.
I mean, this game, yeah. I'm as clueless as you sound right now.
Why does nobody want this Cormorant? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a good bird.
And we discussed Black Swan earlier. I think like they're pretty comparable, and Black Swan a little bit better. But I think like Little Pete Cormorant is also a really nice bird, and especially if you have Star Nest on the board already, and you plan to play, for example, you had as an option the Roadrunner, right? And if you put Roadrunner and Cormorant, it's like just plus 4 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to me because Forest is clearly the best action. So it's the action they want to take more often, but they're not taking the point bombs that show up, so they're forced into just drawing more and not really making any points from it.
Yeah,
I feel like they could have done with even playing like the 6-point the 6-point Crow. You can put it everywhere. You get a neg on it from the Cormorant. It's still good. And I don't know. I mean, Terracotta's board is developing a little bit slowly. That might have been just enough to win. The way I see it.
True.
Woodpecker to snap the end of round. I love when those steel birds are useful for something.
Yeah. I mean, and once this game, the player is agreeing with us and taking the Woodpecker, actually. I think that's, I would be debating taking this bird really hard compared to the options that I had. Also, an interesting thing, I believe, Suzuki draw all the 2-point birds with cavity.
Yeah. I noticed they drew a lot of nuthatches.
Yeah, so it was like, I believe it was like both nuthatches and a chickadee. So maybe I'm...
I don't know. They also had Colte.
Yeah. Oh, and the Colted, yeah. So Eurasian Nuthatch is somewhere.
Skip the Woodpecker. They skipped the Woodpecker, right? That's what happened.
Yeah, but for now it's like, if you're skipping the Woodpecker, you're saying that the opponent might have some extra value from an egg, which I don't see happening because they have plenty on their board. And you just like somewhat missing on points, or like at least on points difference, right?
Penguin disappointing so far. When is it not? When is Penguin not disappointing?
I believe it's not disappointing in your potential high score
Oh yeah,
in patches. It scores every time.
Penguin is good when your opponent has it.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know. I feel like I don't see how this league can win this game. The board is underdeveloped at best, and normally with a board state like that, you'd want to look at the hand and see like, you know, all the birds that they're planning on putting down and thinking, okay, it's smooth sailing from here, but they really have nothing to put down. So I don't know what the plan is.
Hmm. So I think for Sidigi, so at this point in the game, at least as I see it, I would play Forest Raven, Forest Fish Crow, and start to pick up food and play birds that I have, which are left. So maybe that Roadrunner, I would possibly dig once more for better cards in the wetlands.
I mean, at this
And
point,
Cartons.
those 6 and 7 point birds are your best birds. You play the Raggy Bird of Paradise, you play the Crow, you play the Roadrunner, you play the Kelp Girl. You play the birds you have.
Yeah, but I think there might be some more value from Forest Raven because of the bonus card compared to the Count Raggy. If you plan to max out the
Yeah, maybe.
so it's like it's a slight difference though. So it's
Forest Crow instead of Forest Raven is an interesting one.
yeah. I think it's again mostly for the bonus card and for the same reasoning that we discussed the Raven for.
Yeah, but
I don't
If-
think we need extra food, so that's the reasoning. You
Mm.
spend less food and you gain more points, basically.
maybe I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, and also with the Raven, right? As I mentioned, and as you mentioned correctly, you can play Count Raggy Birds of Paradise in the forest, but then Common Raven can go anywhere. So.
You know, just like in the towards the end of last game, Flan told Ziz via the chat that he shouldn't look at the spreadsheets while playing, and then we see this game going downhill really quickly. So I think, you know, I'm not a detective, but linking two and two together, I feel like they needed the spreadsheets.
Maybe these were the wrong spreadsheets.
They're all board states.
Yeah.
It's a big diagram of what bird to play when.
Oh yeah. And being an IT guy, I would go for like if then, and it's like 2,000 cases, right? And you have to scroll through all of them and then decide what's the conditions that you should go for. But
You
then,
know, I knew that that's what Terracotta was doing here with the last few turns they did, and I don't like it at all. They drew a pretty bad forest bird to then play a pretty bad forest bird just so that I can have a better partridge. And I don't know, at this point, you're gonna get like 3-4 partridge activations. At best, if you want to fill, the grassland, it really doesn't seem like, you know, if you don't get a good forest, but just don't play one is what I would say.
yeah, sure. I mean, again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not quite keen on what's going on in this game. I'd rather stick to describing what's happening, and we will see how it turns up in the very end.
I feel like not quite keen is, for me, it's a bit of an understatement.
Okay, Lore Kids from game 1 right now is a boosted buddy in the flock for the third tag, and the plan probably is to play our 2 big birds here. I'm not sure, like
Do you even play Pipit at
on Terracotta's board? I mean,
yeah, because you're gonna have Partridge Falcon, and you have 4 activations on Partridge.
So that's where math involved.
5
and I'm
food.
not-
I don't think you play Pipit.
Yeah, so it's like where math is involved, and it's like you have to count for like 6 actions. I would
No, I think you
humbly
just
humbly stay away from that. Let's say.
play both birds and egg out, and yeah, that would be my take. Play both birds and egg out.
So both the partridge and the falcon.
Not Partridge Falcon and egg out. Don't play Pipit.
Partridge falcon, but then we have 5 activations in the grasslands, and we are losing a value from partridge and the
Yeah,
the very
but
last.
that's fine. You don't want to spend a turn taking food to play
So
the
yeah,
Pipit.
also
you
yeah,
still
you don't
get
have
1
the
point
food.
from the Partridge.
Sure, you don't have the food. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Okay, Roadrunner is played, so now I assume. Wait. Which egg did we spend for Roadrunner? Why it's not from the bush tits? Okay.
I feel like they're heavily,
no. Okay,
heavily min-maxing the end of round, but
yes, understandable. But then it's gonna be spent, yeah. So whatever, right? So it's like penguin and bush tits, yeah.
No, but it's not like Terra could have called up either way. They don't have the X spaces. Odd decisions in this game. I wonder if they're gonna have to activate the fish quad. Nah, okay, just play.
Okay, Wetlands Raven. Okay, Forest Bullshit Wetlands Raven. That's a good board if I ever seen one.
Okay, so they do the bird bender. Do you is Raven worth playing over just playing the Condor? Or are they gonna try to? Maybe they'll try to get the full bonus card. So play the Woodpecker, play the Condor.
I think Woodpecker Condor is possibly the plan for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's fine, right? So like you gonna maximize 1 bonus card, look at more bonus cards. Since you're gonna have a lot of birds on the board, most likely than not, you're gonna have something worth some points. So.
This board really pushes the boundaries. Yeah, this is modern art. This board.
Yes.
This board belongs in the Louvre, I think.
Yeah, it's a final of the tournament, right? So it has to be a state of the art. And I think that's a good time for. I'm gonna ask Flan to maybe put up the poll for who
make a poll?
think is good. Yeah, who's gonna be the winner in YouTube chat. And I'm really interested to see people's opinions on who's the winner there. If Flan is still there, but yeah, I don't think I'm able to. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough, right? So the grassland activation when it's. Oh no! What is that?
Gull?
What is that?
I mean, it's Gull Swift, right? Engine.
Oh, yeah, but they already had 4 cards.
And it's.
Okay, just for that, I'm gonna say this. I was on Terracotta's side, but.
I'd say let them cook because end of round, right?
I don't know.
Also, you dig for the second eagle in the grasslands.
I feel like maybe this one is overcooked a little bit.
Can be.
I don't know, but yeah, it's gonna be like sort of what I was talking earlier with the straggly bird points for these, where you look at the Terracotta's board. Neither of those players really have point bombs, but Terracotta has like birds that are worth 3, 2 points, and this has birds that are worth like 6, 5, stuff like that, and that's gonna add up a little bit. Not that much, but a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But again,
They
in
can
the late,
create a path which I don't know. I have no explanation for this girl going down.
actually, I would go as far as say I don't have an explanation for this game. So make your own judgments. I think like the final counting boards will be the judge of this game. I'm rooting for Syzygy again, as I mentioned in the chat earlier, partially because he was the one who eliminated me from the tourney and make it all the way to the finals, but also because
Do you know if they played you with or without the spreadsheets?
no idea. But I also root for them because game 3, more wingspan,
Yeah, for
we
sure.
reset and we go sudden death. Whoever wins. So
Yeah, and honestly, I'd be a little disappointed if this ends up being like the final decider game, because it was a bit of a mess.
I think it could be really a sign for that. Even in finals, if you see something's happening and you don't necessarily agree with what happened on the boards, you cannot judge the winner because it's a tournament winner. So
Yeah, for sure.
then you
It's
better.
tough. It's tough being in their position, to be honest. It's way easier being in our position and just look at them doing stuff and being like, oh, that's weird.
It's not weird. They're in the finals. They cook. We just look at what they cook. So
Four
Yeah.
Turks, 1 cash, 9 eggs. I don't know, man. Neither of them really have a lot of stuff going on.
okay, is it a forest squander? No, sure. Grasslands. Span from bullshit. Yep.
I feel like Sis has been dominating those end of round a little bit. Oh,
Okay.
Breeding Manager, can you do anything with that? 1, 2.
You can
Not
do
really.
2, so it's like equal to the bird counter. Plus, you have to lay eggs on the yellow throat, which is not a deal breaker at this point. So you take whatever. A little bit unfortunate, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
There were some better pools. It's
There
fine.
were quite a few better pools, to be honest.
Yeah. Pipit is on the board, so good prediction from.
Yeah, PP is
Last-
on the board. It's another bird that points white, and the last 2 turns are gonna be pretty decent.
Yeah.
Well, 9 point grassland now, is it?
So it's
Yeah, 9 point
5,
grassland.
4, 7, 9. Yep. If we're not discarding it, Gal, which I don't think we do.
So you know
but-
that this it's still gonna end up pretty decent.
Yes, but wait. Were we playing with 2 nectar to win in the wetlands? Sure. But could we? It doesn't matter if we overpay. No, I think it. Why wouldn't we pay with fish and nectar for Kelvgal?
They have.
No, to guarantee the win, right? So
Yeah.
since our opponent have a nectar, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Keep eggs, tuck.
Yeah.
So this is the grassland I would have liked to see, but I would have liked to see it much earlier in the game. I think for me, Bullfinch was the biggest mistake here.
Again, I wouldn't call any of the plays mistakes, but rather just like
Bullfinch is my biggest disagreement.
yeah. I think
Um,
again, since we are almost at the finish line, I would let the score sheets be together.
It seems close. It's really unfortunate for the bad bonus card for this. I hope that doesn't end up being the decider. 2-point bonus card when you have like
okay
10, 11 birds down.
Just imagine the decider would be the red-headed woodpecker cache right now. Brutal. And are we turning around the end of round while playing the green woodpecker? I think so, right?
I didn't really count, but I think they were ahead either way.
Yeah, plenty of birds, and we're gonna have +2, I think. So it's like 2 points plus 6, basically.
Yeah, nice rectangular board as well.
And
always
yeah,
something we look for.
bird bander.
No, grassland.
Yes. Style points.
Almost choked her.
Yeah.
Yeah, those last 2 turns for Terracotta might be key. I don't know. I think this feels still slightly ahead.
Yep. But like again, 5 tags on the board from Pipit. Is this the final turnaround? Okay. Nectar. I think it's like 10 to 7, 12 to 9 towards Suzuki.
All right, let's see a game 3.
Yep. Okay, what about the boards? Suzuki with a better.
Not that much ahead. They still have to compensate for the 20 egg difference.
Yeah, and some tags.
8 to 26, right? And a lot of tugs. I feel
Nectar,
like Terracotta is...
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's close, but not quite.
Ooh.
Okay. And we have a winner.
We have a winner yet, Terracotta.
Yep.
GG's
GG's to the players.
What is it? 4-point difference?
Yes, 4 points for the game. For the game too.
So they would have needed a 6-point bonus card, 7-point bonus card. Basically, bonus card that's done, and that's tough. You know, that's not really what you can expect drawing. If I'm being completely honest, but yeah, really close to be fair. And yeah, in fairness to Terracotta, a few of the decisions I thought were questionable, but the end result is there. So, like you said, you know, if they won, that means the decisions are justified.
Yes, I think like again, this game is really shown that Wingspan is really diverse, and you can basically convert your plans to really, really great games.
There's probably a lot of stuff that they were thinking about that we didn't pick up on.
Yep.
Especially commenting, I've often found that I'm less analytical about the game when I have to commentate at the same time.
For sure, and I think we're gonna have an interview of a champion hosted by Flen. Yours truly.
First time champion as well.
I'm back. We're gonna get Terracotta back in the room. So, I mean, first of all, congratulations, winning the tournament, 2 games to 0. How does that feel?
Thank you. It feels good. I was playing Wingspan a lot, and finally, second final, first win. Feels
Absolutely. I know how that feels. Sometimes you gotta lose your first final to come back and win the second one. But it's really, really tight second game. I mean, the viewers weren't sure, the commentators weren't sure which way it was going to go. Obviously, some twists and turns, and couple of nice big point turns at the end, obviously with the
Yeah,
partridge.
especially the end of the second game was tricky for me, and possibly I could have played it better because the misplay was I was thinking I had enough food for a wetland bird, 9 power,
Yeah.
but I didn't. And then again, laying eggs is more points than playing the bird, because I knew he took the woodpecker. I think is in the round 2 or round 3, so it's like +2 for the round 4 bonus. So either way, even if I played the bird, I would lost round 4 bonus.
Yeah, I think as well, you know, it was
Maybe
kind of, yeah. It was,
maybe the correct play was round 4, not taking food at all and just laying eggs. I don't know.
I
Maybe
think this
it
is the
would've-
thing. I think certainly on commentary and in the chat, it was all about working out. You know, once the partridge goes down, you want to lay eggs and obviously score loads and loads of points there. But I want to.
Again,
yeah.
it was 8 points, and I didn't need to use Gal.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it would be better. Maybe not. I don't know. But it was tight.
It's always tight. I want to talk about game 1 though. That was super interesting. You know, you having the wagtail and your opponents is actually having the Yellowhammer. It was kind of a bit of a blow for blow battle. You know, both competing with the teal powers. Just how tricky was that, managing that, and you know, all the sort of, there's no goal as well in there in that game. I mean, it certainly was a really fun game to watch. What was it like playing that one?
First of all, I started without a starting.
Yeah,
tank,
no cards.
No cards, 5 food, but the tray was looking good. I knew I can take these cards, draw, take something that gets me food, and just roll from there. Opponent got the teal power as well, but I think he was short on food round 1, and he couldn't play teal power round 1. That might be a big factor as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I could start round 1 and he couldn't.
Yeah, I think that certainly seemed like the key. I mean, you knowing that you started with it and obviously could plan a few extra turns ahead, and then, you know, the Yellowhammer sort of came up in the middle of the round, and that's always trickier. But you just had so many big plays, and obviously the Raven coming up was a nice one as well, but loads and loads of big point birds went down as well. So very, very good games, very nice to watch. I think we might be getting Syzygy in as well, if you can hear us. Obviously commiserations, but very hard fought, and getting to the final is always a good achievement. How do you feel kind of coming off the back of that final?
Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was very happy to get to the final. Don't think I played so well this evening. Just the occasion, I don't know, maybe the occasion got to me. Sorry, what was your question? I forgot already.
Well, just how do you feel? And obviously kind of disappointment, I'm sure, but certainly that first game was a good one, and second game so close, could have gone either way really at the end.
Yeah, first game, I mean, he was a bit ahead, obviously, with Odwin's Skull versus my lack of card draw. Probably a bit ahead. I maybe made, I think the gap, I was never going to make up the gap, but maybe playing the turkey in the forest wasn't the best play, and then maybe I could have played the Count Raggies for the cup nest in round 4. But he had a very strong game. It was never going to quite, I think I wasn't going to quite make up the gap. So yeah, it was
tough. It was definitely tough seeing that Kakapo come up after you kind of already filled the forest, but it's one of those things that can happen sometimes.
I could have been playing the cat. I forgot. I was thinking, do I block the Kakapo? I could have been playing it if I hadn't played the turkey.
It's always these little things.
It was a bit of a weird one.
Always these little things, but it was a very good game, and like I say, that second one, super close in the end. Lots of kind of interesting decisions along the way that kind of get you there, but. Yeah, tricky game.
That was definitely winnable for both of us, the second one. So, he deserved it. I mean, if I rushed the first turn. If I just played Pileated Woodpecker first turn, I think I could have got an egg before before he played the Swift in
Yeah.
the grasslands.
I think that's what the chat was sort of trying to work out as well. Obviously, with the ordering, sometimes you can sort of.
Yeah, well, I know what. I just rushed that first turn. I would never do that normally. Like, why did I play Yellowthroat then Woodpecker? It made no sense. I just rushed the first turn because sometimes I struggle with time management. Like, I'll take 2 minutes on a turn and then I'll rush another turn.
And as you said, when you're in a final, you're sort of under the lights. It can be a pressure situation. I mean, like, we've all been there as players. Our commentators have been there as well. So. Many of our viewers as well, so we all sympathise. But it was a good showing. I think both games were good to watch.
Well. Sorry for speaking over you.
It's all right. No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, my penguin was really cold. That was a few times I lost.
Yeah. Well, again, that we've all been there. That can certainly happen with the penguin. It's either your best friend or your worst enemy, and not quite doing you any favours here today. But as I say, really, really interesting couple of games. Good to watch. So thank you both of our players. Congrats again, Terracotta, of course, on the win. Definitely good showing in this final. And thank you everyone for watching at home. Hopefully you enjoyed this final. Crowning a new champion.
Well done, Terracotta. Well done.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I hope the viewers enjoyed the games.
Yeah.
Sure they did. I certainly enjoyed watching. So there we go. I think we'll wrap that one up here for now. As I say, thank you everyone for watching. This will be available on demand on the VOD as well. So both of our players, you can go back and watch, as well as our viewers watch back at any time. And hopefully you can join us again very soon for another tournament live stream. Stay tuned for that. Thank you everyone for watching.